All right, guys, this video is chestnut tree maintenance part 2. And in case you're wondering why I broke it up the way I have, these trees are basically at the budding stage now. So everything's swollen, getting ready to leaf out. I'm not going to put fertilizer down early to try to force these trees to grow sooner. Sometimes that actually leads into a mistake and causes these trees to get frostbit. If that occurs, you could lose your nut crop. So that's why I always wait till the tree tells me it's ready to grow on its own without fertilizer. So the other mistake that a lot of people make, and at least in my opinion, is when you fertilize trees, the lazy thing to do is just throw it around the base of the tree and be done with it. You need to look at tree width and tree height. My rule of thumb for me is when I fertilize 3 feet past the farthest hanging limb in a 360-degree circle, and that will feed the tree a whole lot better than just throwing fertilizer down here on the ground. Boron, that's what I'm doing today. Boron treatment is the exact same way. You want to circumference the entire root area plus a little further out, because you're trying to encourage roots to chase nutrients and grow faster. So this will help the tree to grow better. So I've already set fertilizer out. I just didn't want to film that part, but I used 12, 24, 24 for these trees. I tend to back off the nitrogen for a little bit. You don't have to, but I'm doing that. And then the second wave of fertilizer will occur after the nuts have been pollinated, or the burrs have been pollinated, and I'm trying to encourage another wave of growth to get more size on these trees a little quicker. So basically today is just boron treatment. You've seen me do this before. I'm also am treating Ambrosia beetle. It could be too late for this tree. I've retrained a new tree, and we have Ambrosia beetle. That's what Ambrosia looks like, guys. They bore into the tree and insert a fungus in there, and it can kill the tree. And this tree is turning kind of an ugly dark color here. So this one may die, it may not. But I sprayed the tree with biofin, trying to deter these guys and kill them off. I'm hoping I caught it early enough, but we'll see. I try to keep watch on these, but I can't do it all the time. But this is the only tree so far that seems to have it. So I'll do a quick demonstration here. To me, this is the perfect tree to do a demonstration with, as far as what I'm doing for boron, and treat it like fertilizer. If you notice, this is kind of weird how this has happened, but there is a perfect circle of low growth around that tree. The bigger this tree gets, the bigger that circle has gotten, which means there's an issue with nutrition in the soil here. A lot of nutrients are locked up when you see this result. They're there, it's just the plant cannot access them, and you need to unlock them. But for the meantime, I'm going to use fertilizer to compensate for the fact that these nutrients are blocked up here. So boron is going to help plants to release a little bit of that, but this circle is actually following my 3-foot rule. Kind of neat. So the circle extends, except for right here on this spot. Most of it, 95% of it, extends past the tree. So basically, I'm just going to wave it over. And that's one handful. Now you remember, just because I use one handful doesn't necessarily mean you have to. It all depends on what your boron level is at to start with. But I'm trying to make these trees produce, and I need a little more there. The whole goal was to try to up nut production. And I'll come in and clean out from around these trees. This is a good chance to clean some things up. There, see, that was less than a handful. I've still got a little left over. But this is basically what I'm doing. Every tree is going to get this type of treatment. For those of you that got the liquid form, it's going to be a lot easier. Just spray it and walk away. This is my #1 producer. So it's going to get its normal treatment and probably would stay my #1 producer. There might be a tree or two that will challenge this. Just depends on what they want to do this year. So I think you pretty much got the idea. I'm going to shut the video off, but as long as you can cover the entire root zone of the tree, you should get some fantastic results. Even if you don't have a tree that is old per se, like one of my other subscribers said they got a Dunstan that's 3 years old, you can still encourage better growth through the use of boron. And these trees have been known to produce. It's rare, but they do have trees at 1, 2, and 3 years old that have produced before. But when the tree's young, you're really more encouraging really good growth. That should be your goal. And then after 5 and 6 years, you know, you should be looking forward to a pretty decent crop of nuts for a smaller tree. And then after that, it can keep building. So there you go, guys. Just another tip here that I use. And before I shut this off, your fertilizer rates. I'm talking about the 12-24-24 I set off out here in the soil. The rates can vary per tree. The bigger the tree, the more I tend to set out. The smaller the tree, the less I set out. If a tree is struggling to grow as good as your other trees, I increase the rates around those trees only and try to boost them enough to get them, you know, on the same level as the other trees. So for instance, my big producer here is my worst grower. It is by far the slowest growing tree. So I'm going to actually add an additional dose of fertilizer around that tree. Just depends on size of the tree. Again, it might be twice as much, it might be a quarter, 1/3. It just depends on tree size. So there you go, guys. I hope you like this video. And now that the chestnut trees are budding, I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing even more nut production this year. You all have a great day.